Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Last Thoughts of a Busy Mind, chapter 186. This one titled New Vegas DLCs, Part 1. First of all, a few things. The next part 2, might come out next week or might come out 2 seasons from now. Honestly, the reason I named this Part 1 is because I am halfway through New Vegas DLCs. There is noises in the background. Hopefully the small post-processing I do on this show can remove them, but I had to have them because it's quite hot in my room and I have to open a window. And I am still sick. I will not cough into the microphone, but I might cough. Yep, it's still going on. It's a joke at this point. Anyways, my drink today is some watermelon juice. It has a rich history in that we went to a place with my friend and it was very cheap. And ever since I've been obsessed with this place. And tonight we went there. None of my friends and my girlfriend, none of them got anything. We went there just for me. I got 2 bottles of 1.5 liters, one watermelon juice and one melon juice. Green melon. I don't know just melon juice. And let me drink some of this. It's cheap. It is very cheap, but god damn, it tastes amazing. Like, I genuinely don't know how they can afford to sell these at the prices they do. It might be a money laundering thing. It might be backed by the mafia. I don't know. Anyways, it's pretty good. And I have drank around like a third of it. So hopefully I will not get a stomachache. Anyways, what happened last week? Lots of things, and at the same time, not as much as I thought it would be. I am still not recording the video that I should for April, which is the Atalmat Health Tutorial video, because my skin, genuinely, I look sick. And I am sick, as I said, but I look sicker than I actually am. So on Saturday, I have an appointment for my skin doctor, which is, by the time you're listening to this, imagine like 14 hours from when this show has gone live. I have an appointment, and then a bunch of other appointments, and hopefully in the next week I can actually record the video, edit it, and publish it. I have had quite a bit of, anxiety about the fact that I am not doing the things I want to do. And those anxieties are still very much apparent, but that's not why you're listening to this. This isn't a pity party episode. No, those come probably much later when I inevitably fail. Because apparently I'm destined to. We are here to talk about New Vegas DLCs. Oh, another thing I watched. I just wrote it in my notes. I started watching The Righteous Gemstones. I started watching them yesterday. I'm 2 seasons deep. Pretty good. I quite like the show. It is not as biting of a satire as I thought it was going to be, but still funny, has incredibly awful characters that I genuinely hate, but I love to hate them. John Goodman is in it. Pretty good. Danny McBride, Adam Devine, Walton Goggins, who is going to be in Fallout Season 2. Season 2 is coming. Season 2 is New Vegas, Macaulay Culkin is in it. And Macaulay Culkin was in The Righteous Gemstones. He portrayed Walton Goggins' son. Maybe that's the same in this. No, he had a daughter. He had a daughter in that show. And she was black. I don't think they're gonna cast Macaulay Culkin to play her. Is it HBO? No, Fallout isn't HBO. Who's making Fallout TV show? Fallout TV show is okay. Amazon Prime. Yes. Amazon Prime, yeah, not HBO. Wasn't it supposed to be HBO? No, I'm The Last of Us. That's HBO, probably. I don't know. I haven't seen that. Anyways, why am I rambling? Because that's the show. Anyways, New Vegas DLCs. So I talked last week about New Vegas, how much I love it, how much it's one of the greatest video games of all time, and how much I fucking love it. I've talked that to death in the last week's episode, but I told you I never played the DLCs. Well, through this week, I played two of them to completion, and I do mean completion. That means discovering every location, doing as many quests as the DLC throws at you, and from what I read, one of them I genuinely probably 100%. The other one I missed one or two small side quests that I will talk about. But yeah, the ones I did play in the order that I played them were Old World Blues and Dead Money. Those are the ones I finished. Honest thoughts, I started quite recently, haven't finished yet. But I will give you some of my thoughts, because when we do part 2, it's going to be Honest Hearts and Lonesome Road. And, we have to see how that goes. So, Old World Blues was the first one I did. I know it's not the first one that came out. Dead Money, I think, was the first one that came out, and a lot of people probably played Dead Money first. I didn't. I played Old World Blues, and the game doesn't, guide you to do one first, and they seem pretty disconnected in terms of continuity, even though they all make references to each other a lot, which, that's okay. But yeah, they all seem to be going to something which I imagine is Lonesome Road, and I'm leaving that for the last. But yeah, I played Old World Blues first. I love Fallout humor. I genuinely love the level of humor that every Fallout game has, including New Vegas. Some of the funniest things I ever remember is a gang of old ladies in New Vegas in game history for me. I fucking love the humor. And Old World Blues is laugh out loud funny at times. And it is very well written, very humorous. Humor is on point. It can be annoying if, games try to be funny and fail, but this is genuinely funny. The problem is Fallout New Vegas, and by extension the engine and the way the game plays, is not a good vehicle to deliver the jokes that this DLC wants to deliver. Okay, one very simple thing. Fallout New Vegas isn't good. Fallout 3 New Vegas and older games made by Bethesda, and I think it's a creation engine. I'm sorry, I have to fact check that literally while I'm talking. I think which engine? Engine. Oh, it's Gamebryo. Creation engine is Fallout 4. Okay, so it's Gamebryo, apparently. Okay, good to know. Gamebryo. Which, funnily enough, I don't think it's even Fallout. No, Fallout 3 is also Gamebryo. Anyways, it's not a good engine to have multiple participants into the same conversation, because it can only focus on one. So in order for it to not just cut conversation and keep flinging you back and forth between a few people, everyone is talking to the same character, Dr. Klein, at the beginning of the DLC. The jokes are funny, characters are very well developed, they all have unique lines, incredible, but the problem is they're all talking to the same person. So there are attempts at making them unique, like, okay, they all talk differently and they all have signifiers. For example, Klein talks in all caps because the volume thing is broken. I think it's Dr. O has like stars next to his lines, and they do try to make it palatable. But it's not, because the opening of the Old World Blues suffers from a lot of problems. First, just a huge information dump. Like, they try to tell you everything that the DLC has and the DLC does and everything that you're going to go through for the next 2-3 hours into one conversation. And throughout that conversation, there are people talking to each other, voices talking to each other, to one person. And pretty soon it becomes boring, and I could feel my eyes glaze over. I think that there were times I was hearing what they were saying, but I wasn't listening. I didn't care because the representation was pretty awful. And the amount of information dump was comical. Like, why did they do it this way? I mean, they have to. Like, these are the problems of using this engine and the age of the game. But I can't think but feel there were better ways. The way they just information, that the front load the whole DLC with information. And so by the time you're done talking to the think tank, the doctors, and you go to the big mountain, the DLC properly starts and you start exploring, you're already just done with the whole thing because it's overwhelming and it's just a huge amount of information. And then the problem comes when you're exploring. First of all, Big Mountain, Big Empty has just a fucking shit ton of the same encounters. Lobotomites, scorpions, they attack you. And pretty soon it becomes kind of boring. I just knew that every time I would leave a building, oh my god, I'm gonna have to fight. And it wasn't exciting fighting. Oh, I have to fight. It's just, oh fuck, just let this be over with. So yeah, that was a problem. I did not enjoy that. And the quests all of them were fetch quests, a problem. But the problem is when you go through them, they all just become the same. Like, okay, for one quest, in order to upgrade your sonic emitter, you have to do some tests, and also the stealth suit. And they literally make you do the same tests 4 or 5 times. And at that point I was like, oh, why am I doing this? There isn't a narrative reason I'm doing this. It's not that narratively exciting. It's funny, but I don't care about these characters. I don't care about that they took out my spine, brain, and heart when the effects of that seem to be negligible. And I just didn't care anymore. But I did. I went to it. This is where I probably missed a few side quests. I missed making the dog. You can make a robo dog. I didn't do that. I completely missed that. And that's a shame because, as I said, there are like detail. Okay, I went to the Higgs village. There is a location in Big Empty that the scientists used to live there when they were human. And I went to one of the houses. I assumed it was for I think her name was Dara. And I went to the basement. There's a teddy bear with few knives in them. And at that point, I just started laughing because it's such a good joke if you are listening to what she says. She keeps calling the player teddy bear and all of that. And I started laughing. But here's the thing. Higgs Village, I didn't need to go there. There is a quest to go and like grab some components. But I just went there because I self-imposed the challenge to myself to explore every single location. I didn't need to do that, but I just wanted to do it. And because of that, I could have easily missed this. So a lot of things that the DLC does right, it just refused to show you properly. Oh my god, I have less time than I thought. But yeah, Old World Blues ends up being mediocre because it's just a bad presentation. The endings weren't that exciting either. That's the thing. Dead Money, on the other hand, I fucking love that. Everything, the character interactions, the developments, how they were introduced, their interplay, the fact that Dean Domino, I just wanted to fucking kill that man as hard as I could, and I did. I didn't stroke his ego, so he refused to cooperate with me. So yeah, I love that. Everything about the Old World Blues that I hated is done right in Dead Money. There are new enemies, new ways of attacking, there are new things to do, but they are introduced to you organically. Little by little by little by little, you are introduced to all of these. You're introduced to the new enemies. For example, Elijah just says, yeah, new enemies, you have to dismember them, otherwise they will come back. Great. And over all of this is a great atmosphere of mystery and thriller. It's wrong because it's not, but it almost feels like a film noir. It's not a film noir. It's not a film noir at all, but it feels like it. And goddamn if it's not good. And narratively, it's much more satisfying. You go to each of these three narratives, 4 if you count Elijah, and there is an overarching narrative, which is Vera Keyes and Frederick Sinclair. And you go to all of them, and it works. Sorry, but it just works. All of them are very well written, very satisfying. You find yourself immersed in their stories and try to do what's best for them. And even if you're like me and you have a high charisma, speech level 100 character, you just learn a lot more. And I love that. I loved Dead Money. Now, there are problems with Dead Money. I'm not going to say it's perfect. One of them is the combat. Again, kind of boring. But the good news is, it's not the focus. Like, okay, there is a lot of it. There is a lot of fighting in this DLC, but you can easily see, like, that's a small dent in a perfectly serviceable car. Like, the DLC works in other ways so well that I am willing to forgive this, because even though I didn't engage with the fighting as much as probably a lot of people who hate this DLC had to, I genuinely just felt good walking through these worlds and talking to these people and understanding them and trying to understand this amazingly odd place. The other problem is, it's a one-time deal. I can't imagine going through that, and I think that DLC knows that too, because when you're going out, it tells you can't come back. You can't go back to Big Mountain, a Big Empty. I don't know if that's the same for Honest Hearts. I think it's not, though it does have a lot of areas to explore. I will talk about that at the last seconds. By the way, like, comment, subscribe. I can do a call to action this episode, I think. But yeah. By the way, if you're seeing watermarks on the videos recently, Headliner used to do 4 a month for free. Now they're doing 1 a month. So yeah, that's going to be there occasionally. Sorry about that. I can't change that. I can't pay them. Even if I wanted to. And I don't want to. Sorry. Mean-spirited, but I had to say. Anyways. Yeah. So when you're leaving, it just lets you leave and you don't go back to the location because it's not that expansive. It's very small, which also works. It doesn't become boring as you explore it, but it's a one-time deal. You play it one time and you're done. You can't go back to that place because all of the mystery, all of the mystique, all of the thrill of it is in that initial mystery and atmosphere. And it's a law of diminishing returns. If you keep going back, it probably will feel worse. Now, less than a minute. Let's go Honest Hearts. So far, kind of boring. I didn't care about the religious aspect. It has a lot of places. I don't like Joshua Graham. I am mostly confused. I am very uncomfortable with the Native American portrayal. It just feels icky to me. But in general, I think they just wanted, Fallout New Vegas is a Western by a lot of metrics, and I think they had the cowboys, now they wanted the Indians, and they didn't do a good job in my opinion. I'm going through emotions with Honest Hearts. I am not engaged with it. It's just, I'm confused. I'm just following the quest marker, but hopefully the ending is satisfying. I don't know. I haven't finished it yet, but yeah. I will see you next week, probably with part 2, probably not. As I said, it depends on when I finish the last 2 DLCs. and I will see you next week talking about something.